Well, it was a mixed bag of results across the top of the table before heading into the international break. United is now off to their worst start of a season in, let's see. Oh, yeah, literally ever. And Leicester City got some points that may well prove vital come the end of the season for their hopes of returning in the next. Come get your fix today before the break on Coffee with a Kick. Hello and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick with the mournful last match recap before an international break. It's always such a sad time to be alive. Speaking specifically about today being the last recap, not just a general depressive statement like
you doing okay?
It's always such a sad time to be alive.
Yeah, you need to talk about something, get something off your chest today.
I mean, our picks weren't that great this week. They weren't as bad as last match day, so we can't cry. But it certainly wasn't a great match day for us, and really not great matches by and large either. There were some good ones. There were some highlights. I feel like it was an either or proposition. It was either a really bad match or like a crazy match that who saw that coming. So let's just go ahead and crack into it here real quick. First up is, of course, Crystal Palace hosting Liverpool. Liverpool does indeed get the victory here. Only just not a lot of notes I have for this one. A 1-0 victory for Liverpool. It was a well-worked goal by Liverpool there in the 9th minute for Diogo Jota. But Crystal Palace, they're going to be mad about this one going forward because they had abundant chances throughout the rest of the match from the 9th minute forward to equalize or even win this match, and they just failed to convert time and again.
Yeah, it definitely felt like Palace utilized being at home to their advantage. They just couldn't put that goal away that they needed. Liverpool did not seem as eager to get on the move. Once they got the first goal, they were pretty okay with saving some energy, being behind the ball. So It kind of looked like, especially near the end of the first half, early second half, that it could have been one of those pre-international break foibles by the Big Six, but Liverpool held in there. Kudos to them. Alisson did get hurt, though, and could be out for potentially a couple of months. So that's something to note.
That is certainly something to keep an eye on going forward. But yeah, not a lot to write to home about it. Crystal Palace, they are better than their position on the table right now because they are certainly better than 18th. But, you got to show it on the pitch at some point. You got to show it on the scoreline at some point. And they're not doing it so far. Then to another top of the table team that did not stumble in the end. They went down first, but came back. Arsenal beat Southampton 3-1. Really not a lot happened in the first half for either side. It wasn't much. And then in the 50, my note here for the 55th minute Cameron Archer goal is suddenly Southampton scores on a counterattack. It was just out of nowhere. Southampton breaks it through and Cameron Archer gets a nice feed from Matheus Fernandes and gets himself a goal. And that seemed to kind of snap Arsenal back into it. I don't know what it was about that, but they came in and 3 minutes later, Kai Havertz comes in and equalizes. I said that didn't last long. Terrible giveaway by Southampton that kind of sprung that one. Then on the 68th minute, Gabriel Martinelli, Southampton totally lost track of him there. It was weird. They lost track. Actually, they never had him to begin with. They didn't lose track of him. They just never had him to begin with on the 68th minute goal. And then on the 88th, it was just Bukayo Saka sealing the victory, sealing the 3 points. Southampton gave it away again, and it was pretty easy there, straight to Saka for the goal. Not a great look for Southampton, but not much has been a great look for Southampton here this season.
Yeah, this was a classic. The worst team gets on the front foot, and then they just can't maintain it.
Bless you for saying that Southampton's the worst team.
after giving up that kind of lead that quickly, I mean, it was 45 seconds. It was very quick.
Not much for sure.
And the way they did it is just Arsenal gave them the ball back pretty much, and they're passing around the back, and just a terrible giveaway. And Havertz does well to put it away, but the goalkeeper should have had it anyways. It does hit off the post, but the goalie dove too low. He wasn't in the right position. His defender is blocking off most of the entire goal, so he's only got that near post to shoot at. So it just wasn't a good look for Southampton, and it's going to hurt the morale. I mean, you get that goal, you're feeling elated at the away end. Archer's celebrating with the team, and then their fans just are disappointed 45 seconds later. So it's what happens with these teams. Mm-hmm. You know, they're down at the bottom of the table. They're new. Arsenal comes out, and they just attack with all their might and get a goal quick. And after that, you knew that the second goal was coming. A third goal probably was going to happen. So Southampton, good on them for getting the goal first, but you got to learn how to actually keep a lead.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can talk about Brentford and Wolves real quick.
This was one of those, it was really the Irish coffee match of the day. It was that little extra oomph. If you've never had an Irish coffee, there's Irish whiskey in the coffee. Oh, man. So it really wakes you up and it gets you ready for what you're doing. 5-3. Absolutely impressive. Some of the goals were very well worked. I mean, the Wolves equalizer to make it 1-1. Great cross. Cunha, great finish. Strand Larsen's goal. That was not my favorite goal of the weekend. That we'll get to in a different game, but it was a close second. The way he contorted his leg around the defender to touch it past the keeper for the second goal, that was a stroke of genius. But Brentford and Wolves, a lot of goals in this one. I just felt like Wolves weren't as organized at the back.
Yeah, my note here again and again, and it's been a theme for the Wolves this whole season, is our set piece marking is just atrocious. That's what happened on the second-minute goal for Nathan Collins. It's what happened on the goal there, the Pinnock goal, I believe is that one. I didn't put the note for it. It was bad. I mean, it was an obvious pin that was converted there in the 20th minute. And we got some back there at the end. If we just hadn't... The goalkeeper really messed us up there on the 90th minute. They should have stopped the Carvalho shot. He was just late to react on it. And if he stops that and then we still get the Ait Nori goal in the 90+3, there's something to it. There could have been something else in it, but it was still 5-3, and I think there were only 3 minutes of stoppage time already. So it was never going to happen at that point.
Well, you may appreciate this news, but Wolves did fire their set piece coach.
I was going to say that was actually what I was thinking watching that match. Is like, I don't know how this guy sells it. I don't know how you just don't go, like, it's not complicated. Just man market. Everyone grab a jersey before the ball gets kicked. That's your man. Everyone put your hands on a dude, and that's who you're guarding, and just stick to him. But no, you got to go. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. And now you're out of a job. So good riddance to whomever you may have been.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you watch the film and you just say, this is what we're not going to do. This is great film on what not to do.
Yeah, don't let men just stand in the middle of the box unmarked. That's my biggest hint for you right now, Wolves. And maybe it'll make a difference. You start not giving up as easy of goals, and you could score 3 in a match, which are like well-worked goals. They weren't gimmies. Any of those for the three Wolves goals, so they were well worked, and maybe we can turn something around. And I think now the problem is that we do have City on the other side of this international break, but like we've said before, and I said in the intro of the last episode, either side of international breaks make for strange matches. So we did it to City last year for the November one. We beat them 1-0. I think we were at the Molineux. Yes, because City has that long unbeaten
that was
streak.
The stretch where you beat City 1-0, and I think you beat Villa at home as well, like 2 weeks later. It was probably the best stretch in Wolves history.
I mean, sure, I'll fine. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know enough of the history to combat that, so I'll just accept it. Even if it does seem a bit seems a bit belittling, I suppose would be the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And then we could talk about Leicester and Bournemouth for just like 3 seconds, because it was a 1-0 victory for Leicester City. Good on Leicester with a Facundo Buonanotte, basically solo goal. I mean, James Justin got an assist. He had a good little dink over the top to get him released into the corner, but a lot of that was just Buonanotte saying, you know what, I'm gonna drive this back into the box and just rip one off. And he did. And it was a nice shot by Buonanotte. But then nothing else happened, really, for the rest of the match. I didn't feel like it was not a lot going on.
Yeah, it was Buonanotte goal, really good. Outside of that, not a ton of exciting football. But still a game that matters for Leicester. Getting these 3 points literally could be the difference between relegation or not. So this was a huge win for them.
Yeah, a lot of errant and wild shots for Bournemouth. 19 shots, only 2 on target. That's not what you want to see. And then, you can go ahead and start talking about Manchester City and Fulham here. City did pull it off, in case you didn't see, but only just.
Well, the second goal by Fulham was just a foible from Man City. The first one, though, is what I'm calling my macchiato masterpiece of the week. A chef's kiss, might you add. Jimenez, there's nothing in this play. Jimenez literally does a heel flick over Akanji, over the defender that's on him. And I'm blanking on the player that scored the first goal right now, but he just smashes it in. Xander will fact check me on who that guy is.
Andreas Pereira.
Yes, Andreas Pereira. I mean, it was a great little pass. Like, nothing in the attempt. Yeah. He's got his back turned. Good on them for working that masterpiece of a goal. City, though, Mateo Kovacic is looking like he's a perfect Rodri replacement. We're pretty concerned that Rodri missing him would cause more goals from other teams, would be the downfall of losing some tight matches. But a goal on either side of the half, he's got us in winning position. Ndoku finishes with a beauty, a curler. Yeah. Not even a curler. I think the goalie thought it was going to be a curler, but then it just had that outward spin on it.
Yeah, and it just had that little bit of
the opposite way.
Yeah.
It was a good game, though. Fulham did play very well.
They did.
I think that they genuinely have a chance to challenge all the top 6 teams this year. They're very well organized.
Yeah, they are looking. They're dangerous for sure. And this was at the Etihad, so like really good result for them. I mean, a loss is never that good, but a good showing, I think, would be the best way to say that. Like they didn't look totally out of it. They didn't look like the best team out there, but they looked like they weren't overwhelmed. And it's a nice note to take into the international break for them, where good old Jedi gets to. I think he'll actually be able to. Do you know if he's on the roster for our first? What's his face?
Pochettino.
Pochettino. First Pochettino matches.
I don't know.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll just look it up right now.
You can figure it out while I start talking about West Ham United taking it to Ipswich Town. A first-minute goal by Michael Antonio. It really was easy for West Ham a lot of this match. Ipswich Town, we talked about it at the beginning of the season, both of us did, and they have not. The only person who has done anything to meet our expectations is Liam Delap, because he's got himself his 4th goal here. He just takes a quick shot and catches the goalkeeper off guard enough to hammer it past him. It was really nice by Liam Delap there in the 6th minute. So a nice quick reaction, but then West Ham kind of just took over. They didn't score until the 44th minute, but it was again pressure on Ipswich Town. Kudus made up for, he redeemed himself because he missed a header just a few minutes before his 44th minute goal that was wide open. This second one was a towering header. He got up for this one and managed to put it in. Really good for Kudus. And then 49th minute, which really put it out of reach, I felt like, for Ipswich Town, is a questionable back pass. Muric, super heavy touch on it. Gives it right back to West Ham, and then he gets beat from a bad angle on the shot itself from Jared Bowen. Like it was not a great sequence for Muric at all. And then to really seal it away, Lucas Paqueta was just kind of chilling out on the backside of the play, and the ball gets played across by, I think it was Jared Bowen who initiated it, but it kind of pinballed through some legs, and he was just standing there alone, unmarked on the backside of the play, and snuck it in back post. And it was 4-1 West Ham. Good job for them. We both, I haven't really picked about what we talked about since it wasn't great. We all got the Arsenal, like us favorites and us two and the favorites, got the Arsenal Southampton. I did get Crystal because you are picking Liverpool, so you're going crazy. I did pick Brentford, so they went first. None of us got the Leicester one correct. Now, Keegan thought he had picked Leicester when he was looking at his own notes, but he apparently talked himself out of it during our last episode to take Bournemouth. So we did fact check him on that. We all got City right, although I am a little upset at City because I did take them 1.5 just for a little bit of more units. And, they let that in at the very last second. We almost had a perfect pick, but instead it's 3-2. And I don't even get any money for it. And then neither of us picked West Ham because we were really hoping that Ipswich Town would take the opportunity to maybe get a point here. They did not. And did you find if good old Jedi's on the roster for these upcoming?
He will be.
He will be. All right.
He will be on the roster. Zach Steffen also is making an appearance.
Really? Zach Steffen back?
Yeah, he's back.
He's a goalkeeper, by the way. Is he still in the City system somewhere?
I think we officially sold him to the Colorado Rapids.
Eesh.
There's either a sell or like a loan to then buy the next year, like a permanent buy.
Gotcha.
Clause.
Yeah, that's you don't want to get sold back into MLS. Excuse me, it's not the MLS. It's MLS, Major League Soccer.
The MLS. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, one thing I want to say about the fact checking, yes, I did write Leicester 3-2, but we're in an election year. Fact checking isn't that important. We can say whatever we want. And it's true. But what game are we going on to next?
It is time for oh boy, this one, real barn burner here. Everton and Nottingham Forest. Not Nottingham Forest. No. Who was that? Everton?
Newcastle.
Boy, yep, I wrote those letters wrong.
It's an N.
I mean, the Newcastle, the Nottingham Forest one wasn't that great either. But Everton, Newcastle, 0-0 draw for Everton. There were a total of 5 shots on goal in this one, which is one more than the Bournemouth match that we had earlier. But my only note here was that, that's right, Anthony Gordon choke jobbing it several times throughout the match. That was my note for this one, that Newcastle could have won it if Anthony Gordon hadn't choked so hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably he's playing his old team
at
Everton, so you don't want to be that guy, right?
They don't put him on the spot for the PK.
Yeah, he's doing his best, I think. I think that's what he's doing.
I hope
But this one, I think Everton's going to walk away feeling pretty good about themselves for getting a point because Newcastle's been on a little bit of a run. So I think this is a positive step for Everton and a step back for Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle definitely would have. I mean, they're getting a point out of it, so at least they didn't lose. But there was more in it for Newcastle that they could have had. Then on to another one that not a lot to say about. Another 0-0 draw. Aston Villa hosting Manchester United. I believe I heard that this makes it the worst start ever for Manchester United through 7 matches. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's their worst ever start, which I think beats last year's. I'm serious. It's either last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah. I what I did was I went through here and I just did a little. I wanted to see how we were doing for our table picks. So I went through and I figured out how bad we're doing. Well, we're not doing well. I don't know. I don't really have a good.
Is infectious.
I don't know how good of a grasp I have of what is a good pick. But let's see. Manchester United is our worst pick. Both of our own worst picks. Currently, we have overpredicted them by 8 places currently and 10 places for you, respectively.
Did I have them in third? Is that where I had them?
Yeah, fourth.
Fourth. Yeah.
Fourth, yeah. Yeah, I'm missing by an average of 3.75 places, and you're missing by 4.5 places. So
Man U's the only team that I would welcome them getting relegated.
yeah,
If it meant that my points places were just off the charts, I would be okay with that.
I think we'll get some course correction here, because I think with Allison out, I think Liverpool will start dropping down the table. Crystal Palace, I feel like, has to start moving back up the table. So it's still early for the bottom of the table, so they could bump up pretty quickly and help us because we both have them well out of position currently. But we'll cover that more fully when we get to, I don't know, a third of the way through the season, halfway through the season. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, yeah. Any notes for Aston Villa? The only note I had was like Bruno Fernandes almost had a really good free kick, but instead he just hit the frame and didn't score a goal, and that was I think wrong notes.
Yeah, I mean this one
67th minute.
Yeah, with Aston Villa, it kind of just felt like damage control.
Yeah,
like they played so hard. They just had a lot of emotional energy get taken out of the midweek by beating Bayern. That now it just kind of feels like, let's just really grind this one out. A couple of players played that didn't play in the midweek. So it kind of, I think they're okay with a draw, especially with the way the Bayern match went. So I don't think they're going to be too hard done by with a 0-0 draw. Man U, though, I don't know how much longer you stick with Ten Hag. It clearly isn't working.
Yeah, we said the November. I know that there was a meeting with the big boys after this match for Ten Hag. So I don't know. We said he was gonna last until maybe the November international break. Maybe he doesn't make it through the October. We'll see. And then to another draw that neither of us predicted: Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. A 1-1 draw here. A really good result for Nottingham Forest. I mean, they go up. This
is my perfect pick.
This was your perfect pick. None of us is in you predicted, which did almost put you into first for the weekend, but not quite. I still out predicted you a little bit. We're going back to my note here that Nottingham Forest did go up first with that 49th minute goal by Chris Wood off of a set piece. It wasn't really remarkable. It was just like a well-executed set piece that was converted. And then Madueke had been giving Nottingham Forest fits all night long, all through this match. And he finally just goes it alone, essentially, on the 57th minute and puts it in the back of the neck. Puts it in the back of the net. Puts it right in that back of the neck.
Apparently, Madueke is also a WWE wrestler.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad name for one.
It would not be. And then, Chelsea had chances to finish it, especially in the 87th minute. But the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper managed to deny Cole Palmer, I think a total of like 3 times in rapid succession to keep the 1-1 draw. A pretty big result there for Nottingham Forest, especially with that late save by Matt Sells.
Yeah. Chelsea had their chances. The Madueke goal was really in part due to the defender kind of like crossing right as the ball is going in. So it kind of threw off the goalie. So it was able to sneak in that far post. But really outside of that, I didn't think that Chelsea played well. I mean, we've already talked about the inconsistencies that Chelsea has and the fact that they're so young, they can't really keep that same rhythm each and every match. And we've seen it over the past 5 weeks. I mean, just 4 or 5 weeks ago, they beat a team 6-2. I won't name that team, but they beat a team 6-2. And then now we're moving into this one. Now we're moving into this week, and they draw Nottingham at home.
At home, after Nottingham Forest goes down to 10 men with 78 in the 78th minute. So they had a full 12 minutes, to get that goal. Well, they actually did end up having 20 minutes because there was like a bit of a scrum there on the sideline that made it go out to 90 plus 13.
Yeah, apparently Nico Jackson in that scrum was throwing some hands, so he may get a suspension. I didn't see the video. I just read an article about it, so we'll see. But as a Chelsea fan, I would be very eager to see what the rest of the game holds rest of the year holds because, man, you don't know what each game is going to do because you could score 5 or you could score 0. You never know.
Yeah, they continue to be very volatile. I mean, they're still, what are they, in 5th? No, they're up in 4th now. So they're keeping pace with the rest of the traditional front runners. Currently in a battle for 4th they've just got a better goal difference than Aston Villa. So they're currently in 4th as opposed to 5th. But we will finish up the match day with what ended up being the best match of the week. We kind of were talking about how none of these matches were that tasty going into it. But Brighton and Spurs, the bird fight lived up to it.
Yeah, this one, I mean, Tottenham clearly in control in the entire first half. Yeah. And it's almost like their halftime talk was, hey, guys, we got it in the bag. It's Brighton.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to lose to Brighton. And then Brighton comes out and they dominate this second half. So Tottenham, I mean, they have a lot to clean up. But Brighton, good on them for not only coming back, but doing it commandingly and doing it early. And they still had to defend for 22 minutes. But good on them for getting that victory.
Yeah, it was truly a tale of two halves. And this bodes well for Brighton because I feel like Brighton's team last year would have sort of wilted away and not fought back, even though they were at home. And this is a really good confidence booster for Brighton going into the international break. Coming off that loss from Chelsea last week, they now have a come from behind victory over a good side. And they've got some winnable matches after the international break. So we'll see how they do. A big matchup next week against Newcastle. But we've seen at this point that Newcastle is beatable. They actually are winless in their past 3. So we'll see how that shakes out. But any other fun things to say before we get out of here for the international break? We forgot to talk before we started recording if we're doing anything during the international break. I don't think so.
I think everybody needs a little break from caffeine every now and then. So I think we'll probably take a break, come back in for just a detox, not like forever, just to clean the system out, just to replenish it again.
Right. You want to get enough of a detox that you feel the buzz again. That's what you're looking for.
Then when I drink coffee, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's what I was thinking.
All right. Well, until we get that get past that detox, why don't you go? Wait, hold on. Go ahead and, for one last ride. Go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer somewhere, and we'll see you on the other side.